sensations caress my body. Textures of the sea, colors of evil, dark and subtle, vibrant and painful, primary colors, the feelings we share, forever branded our hearts. Left my heart in a state of chivalry, bound, stitched and folded, twisted and compressed. You left my soul in a state of chivalry, bound, stitched and folded, twisted and compressed. Once in harmony, I thought you were the one for me. No matter how far apart, I dreamed of you, you dreamed of me. Building beautiful designs in our mind's eye. The architects of our dreams, reaching out to left my heart in a state of chivalry, bound, stitched and folded, twisted and compressed. You left my soul in a state of chivalry, bound, stitched and folded, twisted and compressed.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to a live version of Lounge Room, all things everything. I'll be with you shortly. here with another live episode of Lounge Rōnin. Gonna keep this one a little short and sweet. And gonna keep this nice and short and sweet. Get straight to the point. Sorry, I can't help but enjoy and vibe out to my music. So I hope you've been enjoying listening to my debut album, True Colors. But without further ado, let's get into it. Now, if you can tell from my thumbnail, we are going to be discussing a bit of controversy that is going on in regards to Tony Gilroy, the creator and writer of Andor. Now, if you're not familiar with or aware, Disney owns Star Wars, and they have just concluded the series final of a TV show called Andor, which is a prelude to Rogue One and to A New Hope. Now, the show is experiencing some controversy at the moment because essentially people are raving and crediting this as being the best Star Wars show to date in terms of the acquisition by Disney. Now, you know, as someone who collected Legends material, someone who even collected Disney canon comic book material, and who has watched The Acolyte, I have watched Ahsoka, I've watched most of it. And I would say that Andor should be considered probably the best Disney Star Wars live action show we have gotten. And, you know, The Mandalorian season 1 and 2 are fantastic, a lot of fun. Season 3, for those who've witnessed it, you know what I mean. The Book of Boba Fett. I personally enjoyed The Book of Boba Fett because I liked what they were trying to do. Was it executed as well as it could be? No. Much love to Jay Pylon. Much love to Jack Reeves. Thank you guys for stopping by. Hotep and Build. Jay says, I liked Andor season 1 and I thought it was great. I dislike season 2 as I think it's just boring and a snooze fest. Now, I can understand why you would say that, because season 2 of Andor dealt more with bureaucracy of the Empire and the consequences of that said bureaucracy. So I can understand that. You know, for me, I thought Andor in general was boring, but I really, really appreciated what they were doing, because I think Tony did what George was trying to do with the original trilogy, and even some with the prequel trilogy, was talk about what the consequences. And I apologize for some of the noise. There's people doing fucking renovations outside. The consequences of what happens when you are living in a totalitarian military regime. And I think they've done a really good job with that. You know, Andor was dealing with the controversies in regards to the attempted sexual assault scene, and you know, people are calling it, oh, this isn't Star Wars, things like this don't happen in Star Wars. And I'm like, well, the show is called Star Wars, and sexual assault happens in wars. Let's not try to pretend that the United States in its military conquest is shy of sexual exploitation of those it is oppressing. But what I'm here to talk about mainly is the consequences of the differences in quality that you're seeing currently at Lucasfilm. You could even say, Disney, Marvel, and all that. But I'm just going to focus on Lucasfilm because it's pretty interchangeable. But I feel that Star Wars is more important because, as Chris Gore has eloquently said and made very apparent, turning Star Wars into a girl brand will be one of the most costly entertainment decisions in history, and it has been proven, so to speak. But what we're talking about here in particular is the fact that when we look at the quality of writing in Andor and even the quality of the sets, the quality that went into the minor details, and many people are loving it. I mean, you're having IGN giving it a 10 out of 10. You like, the love for this show and the way it has ended has been monumental. And this is where the problem comes into play. And I'm going to play you this clip. And this clip really proves a point as to why, like, when you look at The Mandalorian season 1 and 2 and you're like, damn, this was really good. And you're like, oh, Jon Favreau did this. And then you find out, oh, Jon Favreau's been working on these scripts since he was a voice actor on the Clone Wars animated show and working on Iron Man. So he's had this idea all the way back from 2006 and 7 and so forth. And you see the work that he puts into it and you're like, holy smokes, this is great. And then you have to deal with the fallout with Gina Carano getting fired. And at that point, Jon Favreau was essentially the creative head for Lucasfilm in terms of creating the path and the direction that they were going to go in terms of their TV shows. And when Lucasfilm and Disney decided to fire Gina Carano for not placating to the woke left, his entire plans collapsed. And you see that in the quality afterwards with the Book of Boba Fett and even with Ahsoka, The Acolyte, The Mandalorian season 3. And at that point, Dave Filoni is taking control. Now you can say, oh, well, what's his name? Jon Favreau. Oh, well, he directed and he was the head of Mandalorian and Boba Fett, but in reality, that was just in namesake because he had already been checked out of Star Wars. He had already been pushed out because and this is just what I believe and how it played out, he supported Gina Carano. He didn't openly say anything, but I think he pushed back against the woke left and against that political mindset that's been rotting Disney. And I think many people are well aware of that. It's been all over the news. Everyone's no stranger to it. So I think many of you are aware of what I'm talking about. So at that point, he ends up getting pushed out. And there is you're right, Jay. Dave Filoni is no George Lucas. I think they need to give Lucas a shot at another trilogy. Listen, I don't know if you're aware of this, Jay, but when Lucas gave over Lucasfilm to Disney, he had script treatments for the next trilogy after the end of Return of the Jedi. Disney tossed those out. They didn't even do the treatments. So they didn't want anything to do with George Lucas's Star Wars. And you see that in the fact, look at Look at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in the park. They created the park based on a planet that wasn't even created until Disney took it over. And if you didn't know this, Jay, and for anyone who's been listening, originally Star Wars Galaxy's Edge was supposed to be Tatooine. But Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger, they wanted to create their own Star Wars. So that's why if you're wondering why, and you can hate on the prequels all you want, but nowadays people are praising the prequels like they're just as good as the original trilogy. And I think it's because of the lack of quality. And this is what I mean. George is never going to come back because they've been doing everything to erase George's Star Wars in favor of creating their own. That's why you wonder after watching The Mandalorian season 2, what happened to Luke and Grogu? What happened to this rumor of Rangers of the New Republic? All of that was Jon Favreau. He was building and in many ways kind of repairing some of the issues that we had with The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker. He was actually actively trying to fix things in a manner that felt relatable. And I agree with you, Jay. Phantom Menace is corny, but I still appreciate Phantom Menace. I still appreciate it even for its corniness. I still love it. And Revenge of the Sith is a masterpiece. I agree with you on that. People can complain all they want. I still enjoy Attack of the Clones. And for me, it's mostly the enjoyment of the nostalgia that I really enjoyed. But to continue and get back on track, we're going to play this video here. Now, I want to play this video because I want you guys to hear, and you'll see I even had some interactions with some people in the comment section about this video, but this video really points a very clear line to connect why you're seeing such a lack of quality. Jay, I literally forgot about Skeleton Crew. Completely forgot that Skeleton Crew even happened. And that's that right there should tell you, as someone who collects Star Wars stuff, who used to, that should tell you how bad the quality is. That I forgot about it. And Jack, I get it. You have not been keeping up much with Star Wars. I don't blame you. There's not much to keep up with. It's not something that you hear people talking about anymore. No one's talking about it. I mean, people are talking about Andor, but that's because of the quality of the show. So I'm going to play this video for you guys. It's only 1 minute, but I'm going to play it for you guys a couple times so you can really digest the words. Here we go.
I have to say, but you have to admire
So
it.
if you have any doubt, I've been hearing for
Rebel side.
years that people Lucasfilm don't, outside of Kathy Kennedy, who
I have to say, but you have to admire
So
it.
if you have any doubt, I've been hearing for
Rebel side.
years that people Lucasfilm don't, outside of Kathy Kennedy, who loves Tony Gilroy, don't really like Andor, and they don't like the way that people always talk about Andor being the quote unquote good one and like all that sort of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like a win is a win or whatever. But yeah, the Filoni Gilroy civil war happening inside of Lucasfilm. And like, to be fair, it's not even like really a civil war because like it's Filoni's house to a certain degree, and Gilroy just got to get away with doing 2 seasons of masterful television in a way that like I have heard from so many other people who have gone into pitch Lucasfilm and have not made it past the Filoni wall, and Tony Gilroy sort of snuck his way around via his relationship with Kathy Kennedy. But like, I just wish Lucasfilm was open to all these very exciting different ways to tell a Star Wars story, because I have to stick to this
but
fucking
you
take.
have to admire
So
it.
if you have any doubt, I've been hearing for
Rebels have.
years that people at Lucasfilm don't, outside of Kathy Kennedy, who loves Tony Gilroy, don't really like Andor, and they don't like the way that people always talk about Andor being the quote unquote good one and like all that sort of stuff like that.
Sure, yeah.
And I was like, why? Like a win is a win or whatever. But yeah, the Filoni Gilroy Civil War happening inside of Lucasfilm. And like, to be fair, it's not even like really a civil war because like it's Filoni's house to a certain degree, and Gilroy just got to get away with doing 2 seasons of masterful television in a way that like I have heard from so many other people who have gone into pitch Lucasfilm and have not made it past the Filoni wall, and Tony Gilroy sort of snuck his way around via his relationship with Kathy Kennedy. But like, I just wish Lucasfilm was open to all these very exciting different ways to tell a Star Wars story, because
So, when you hear that, right? And people, there's a person in the comment section that was like, "Oh, I don't believe this. This is, so BS. This doesn't prove anything." And I'm over here thinking to myself, well, it actually does prove a lot, because if you look a little bit into Dave Filoni, you realize, and even Jay said it, Dave Filoni is not even a shadow of George Lucas, okay? And he has positioned himself in a way because of certain characters, and mainly because of Clone Wars and Rebels. He's been a good yes man, and very good at playing the game. And because he's so good at playing the game, he's able to hide, until now, the lack of real quality he has in terms of writing and directing live action material. Now, Dave Filoni is known for his animation. He did Clone Wars, he did Rebels, he's done those stuff. Now, whether or not you like that or have seen it, that's up for that's for you to debate. But he has done a good job. He was also credited with working on the original Avatar series, so he has experience there. But what I'm trying to bring to light here is that when Jon Favreau was in control, the quality was good and consistent. And we know that because he was the one who started the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Iron Man. He's a very good director. There's no doubting that. I appreciate everyone that's been here so far. Please make sure to hit that like button. So we know about the quality that Jon Favreau has because we've seen it in his work consistently. And what he was building when he came into creating the TV shows was something that many people were looking forward to. They appreciate the quality and the levels of detail he was going into it with. And then when he was essentially ousted and pushed out, after the fallout with Gina Carano, since he was the one that brought Gina Carano into the fold, he was literally going to create an entire TV show around her character, a character me and many other people loved. And Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy and Disney destroyed, literally, probably in another universe, we are probably witnessing some of the greatest Star Wars ever written in that universe. But in ours, of course, communism overpowers creativity. So, and that's what we deal with. And then Dave Filoni takes into power. And if you know anything a little bit about Dave Filoni's wife, he's married to a woman who's like an ultra feminist and like witchcraft practitioner. I ain't got nothing against witchcraft, but if you're a feminist and you practice witchcraft, Jesus Christ, that's an issue. Okay, that's a burn at the stake kind of issue. So that's something that he's also, you know, he's fucking that. So you can imagine the type of influence that he's getting, which she has some influence into Lucasfilm, as I've heard she's had some input, creative input on things. So you're dealing with a man, Dave Filoni, who in many ways you could say is pretty to the woke left. I mean, if you saw The Acolyte, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So to hear this woman say that people have pitched things but haven't passed the Filoni test makes a lot of sense, because if you look at the quality of Andor and the success of it, Dave Filoni didn't touch it. He had no input into it. None whatsoever. So what I'm trying to say here is that that's something that we also kind of take into consideration, that perhaps that it's not necessary. It's the quality that we're dealing with within Lucasfilm is that we have people who may have the qualifications, but don't have the quality to hold up said qualifications. And we've all experienced that in many different types of fields of employment. We have seen people who have the qualifications, but are shitty at their job. I mean, look at our fucking Congress and Senate. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. So this is something that I think people should kind of take into consideration. And the fact that what it seems like to me, right, is, and I saw some quotes alluding to it from Tony Gilroy, is that he kind of was able to do his own thing because Kathleen Kennedy did not allow Filoni and his crew to jeopardize what Gilroy was doing, partly because of their relationship and partly because, as you've seen, whether you like Andor or not, the quality of the writing is good. The consistency is good. Mando season 3, quality, shit. Consistency, shitty. Super shitty. Acolyte, quality, the quality is grotesque. The writing, abysmal, abominable, shameful. Skeleton Crew, I forgot that even existed. That should tell you how good it is. And that one had Jude Law in it. I want you to think about that. All right, they had an entire show circling Jude Law, and that didn't even get anyone's attention. Okay, and they were smart to be like, oh, it's just a miniseries, it's not going to be a series because, well, it wasn't a hit. So what I'm seeing here, right, and who, we'll see if, okay, here's the thing, man. I liked the ideas that the Acolyte was trying to work with. Here's my thing, right? Here's the thing that I think you'll understand, Jay, right? You'll see a movie, right? Or a TV show. You'll read a book, comic, whatever. And you're like, this is a really cool idea. But they can't even, the execution of that idea is so terrible that you're like, damn, man, you just ruined a really cool idea. Like, as you're reading it, you're like, man, what I'm thinking is better than what they actually created. And that's the issue with the Acolyte, was you had a very interesting concept, but you had the quality of a college feminist writer. The quality of the acting, the quality of the production. Those, I watched all of it because I was very curious about it because of the controversy. I wanted to see really what's going on here. And bro, let me tell you, man, I was just like, this is, God, you guys have such a cool idea, but you don't even know how to do it properly. And that was the issue for me. It's always, they will have these cool ideas, but they don't have the quality to back it up. And that's the issue. And you see that here. And that's why I think, and even Tony Gilroy has said it, and it's funny the way he says it too. He says, I've seen his quote where he's like, you're never going to get a show like Andor again. Not with the same quality, not with the same production value. You're never going to get it again. Because even he knows that the qualifications inside of Lucasfilm don't have the qualities. I'm not gonna lie, Jay. I'm very jealous that you got to see it in the cinema. I wanted to see it so badly, and I was willing to pay like $800 for the bucket seats. Oh my Lord. So I'm jealous. Gosh, but think about it this way, Jay, and everyone else, right? You can say what you want about George Lucas and the prequels, right? But the man stuck to his guns. He made the story he wanted to make. You can say it's corny, you can say all you want to say, but guess what? It's fucking consistent. You can watch episode 1, 2, and 3, and you can connect all the dots together. Even if the writing isn't that good, the consistency is there in terms of making sure that we all get a good experience. That's why, that's why it's so funny to me that people, for so many years after the fact, shitted on the prequel trilogies, but once they got Disney Lucasfilm quality films, they're now like, well, now that I think about it, the prequels are actually pretty good. Yeah, no shit. Because you got it from a guy who genuinely cares about what he's making and wants to put the quality in. Sure, he knows about the toys. He knows about making the money. But he also knows in order to make that money and to make those toys, you got to make the quality. And that's one of the things that everyone loves about the Star Wars George Lucas created. Because the quality is there. The love is there. The passion is there. You had it when Jon Favreau was working. When he was the shepherd. But then when he was gone, it was hollow. Even the sequel trilogy, it's hollow. There's no love in it. The toys don't sell. Nothing. Think about it. And that's because you and what's so funny about the situation in that is it actually exposes that J.J. Abrams never really had the quality to begin with. He had the qualifications, but he didn't have the quality. And that's the main point that I'm saying here. All right. Tony Gilroy had the quality and the qualifications. Dave Filoni has the qualifications, but he doesn't have the quality. And that is what you're seeing right now. And this is going to be the issue moving forward for Dave Filoni. Anything that Dave Filoni creates, anything that they create now, will be compared to Andor. They're not going to compare it to The Mandalorian. They're not going to compare it to Skeleton Crew. They're going to compare it to Andor. The sets, the writing, everything is going to be compared to Andor now. And that's probably part of the reason why those within Lucasfilm hate Tony Gilroy. Because now they've been exposed. Now they actually might have to work even harder and actually prove that they have the quality that matches their qualifications. Listen, could you know how funny would it have been? Like, think about it this way, Jay. How funny would it have been if Ye made a cameo as like an Imperial officer, like prior to him having his crash out, that would make the crash out that much better. But yeah, we should get a Yay Star Wars collab. We should get that, an Imperial Yay collab. He definitely fits the mold. But essentially, this is what I'm saying, guys. Like, you don't have the quality anymore. You have the qualifications, but the quality is gone. It's no different at Marvel. It's just that Marvel seems to be willing to make the necessary course corrections, but we will see. We will see. I mean, I don't know about Fantastic Four. I'm a bit apprehensive about it. Listen, man, if could you imagine if Ye went in his healthy times, if he made music for Star Wars, just background music? Oh God, it would be epic. Like, and that's another problem that they have lacked. Like, right now, you imagine the amount of albums Lucasfilm and Disney could put out where they collab with different artists to make albums inspired by Star Wars. Oh my gosh. But anyways, the quality is not there anymore. Oh, you know what? Don't give that idea to Goldstein, because the next thing you know, he's gonna have Vader saying all sorts of crazy shit. Oh gosh. Goldstein's gonna make some crazy stuff there, that's for sure. But this is what I'm gonna say in closing. Andor now is the pillar, the expectation. That's the expectation now moving forward. Anyone who watches Andor and falls in love with it, that is the new expectation. So whatever comes now, Ahsoka season 2, if that doesn't meet the same expectations in terms of Andor when it comes to the quality of writing and production sets, it's going to fail. It's going to fail. And then think about it this way. What happens if Kathleen Kennedy gives Tony Gilroy more projects within the Star Wars universe to work on? That just might happen. And that is going to be another issue that they're going to have to, those who are loyal to Dave Filoni and Dave Filoni himself, he's going to have to reconcile with that. Because now, right, everyone wanted Kathleen Kennedy to go. But right now, Andor has been so good that they're not going to get rid of Kathleen Kennedy because they can get Tony Gilroy to come back. So this is the situation that's going on now. And we'll see moving forward. But like I said, every new live action Star Wars show will be compared to Andor. And that is the sad truth. And I personally think Dave Filoni knows that. I think those people know that, because even the comic book quality has been terrible. All right, it's all been terrible, and I think that they know that. He has set a precedent, Tony Gilroy, with Andor, and now the question will remains: will Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy meet those expectations moving forward with any projects that they create, or will they just succumb to the same old nonsense that they have been giving us for over a decade now? These are the things that Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm, Dave Filoni have to now start asking themselves, and especially Bob Iger. Because if you look at the sales for the comics, the books, in terms of Lucasfilm, it's terrible. All right. You could go to Ollie's right now. You can go to Family Dollar and get Black and Star Wars Black Series action figures for half the price, sometimes for $1. And that's the worst part about it too, Jay. We've lived long enough to see Mark Hamill become a villain. Ain't that the motherfucking truth? Well, in closing, guys, we're going to leave it at that. Thank you all for stopping by, hanging out with me on Lounge Rōnin, All Things Everything, for a live edition covering this little Lucasfilm Civil War that is going on. Oh yeah, even the Marvel stuff, man. All the Marvel toys, all that stuff. It's now, you can buy it for dirt cheap. You can literally buy it for $1. It's really sad. But the like I said, moving forward, Andor is now the show that everyone will compare every future Star Wars show. And if Dave Filoni does not exceed the expectations and the quality and the consistency that Andor had with his upcoming projects, like The Mandalore and Grogu, that's supposed to be coming out next year, I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Don't be surprised if you see Tony Gilroy doing more Star Wars projects. Don't be surprised if you see Tony Gilroy doing the projects that Dave Filoni was supposed to be directing. I'm just telling you right now, the quality is happening. But like I said, we'll see how it is. I'm wrapping it up here. We got the Grift Report coming in live right now. And on top of that, we got Hotep's Been Told You tonight. So for all of my Hoteps, you know what it is. I'll see y'all over on Kick. And for everybody else, until next time, stay positive, stay focused, stay true, and much love. Hotep and build.